Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, the home of all things Liverpool. Huge transfer news, Reds. Liverpool have just completed the sensational £79 million signing of Hugo Ekitiké, beating Manchester United to the punch in a dramatic late twist. And that's not all, a clever transfer tactic helped us seal the deal, leaving rivals like Newcastle stunned. Plus, there's a major update on Alexander Isak that could shake up the market even more. And FPL managers, listen up, is Ekitike your next must-have pick? Let's break it all down. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're a true Red, and let's dive into the latest LFC drama. Liverpool signed Hugo Ekitike in £79 million deal after fending off late Manchester United bid. Liverpool have completed the signing of Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt, with the striker rejecting a late attempt by Manchester United to hijack the transfer. The France under-21 international has joined the Premier League champions for a guaranteed £69 million plus £10 million in add-ons, having undergone a medical in the UK on Tuesday. Ekitike is understood to have signed a 6-year contract and will join his new teammates on their pre-season tour of Hong Kong and Japan. The striker was a long-standing target for Liverpool, despite their interest in the Newcastle centre-forward Alexander Isak, and contact was first made with the 23-year-old's representatives in January. Arne Slot then outlined his plans for Ekitike in a call at the end of last season. Newcastle made a move for Ekitike last week after missing out on Liam Delap and João Pedro, but their £70 million bid was rejected by Eintracht and the player made it clear his preference was to join Liverpool. United also received the same information when they made a last-minute attempt to derail the deal. United's director of recruitment, Christopher Vival, is believed to have contacted Eintracht's sporting director Marcus Krosch over a possible transfer, but Ekitike was already set on Anfield. Ekitike scored 22 goals and made 12 assists in his one full season at Frankfurt, helping the club to qualify for the Champions League, and while he is primarily a number 9, Liverpool believe he can also operate as a second striker or out wide. He is potentially the third most expensive signing in Liverpool's history behind Florian Wirtz and Darwin Núñez. Anfield officials are confident he can become one of the finest forwards in the game should his recent progress with Eintracht be maintained. The deal for Ekitike, which is subject to international clearance, takes Liverpool's summer spending to almost £300 million. The former Paris Saint-Germain player is the club's 7th signing of the window, following Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez and a trio of goalkeepers, Georgi Mamardashvili, Armin Pexi and Freddie Woodman. Liverpool have bought Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt for an initial £69 million and believe they have brought in a player who could become one of the best forwards in the world. The Frenchman, whose fee could rise to £79 million depending on bonuses, has signed a 6-year contract at Anfield after passing a medical. Liverpool saw off-late interest from Manchester United for the 23-year-old, while Newcastle had offered £70 million for Ekitike, which Eintracht rejected. The former Paris Saint-Germain forward, who told United he had no interest in joining them when director of recruitment Christopher Vival contacted Frankfurt, was a long-term target for Liverpool, who had been in contact with his representatives for 6 months, while Arne Slot spoke to him at the end of the season. Liverpool used genius Hugo Ekitike transfer tactic and got the last laugh over Newcastle. Liverpool hijacked Hugo Ekitike's transfer at the last minute by beating out Newcastle and Man United to land the $140 million Bundesliga star and avoid a bid war. Liverpool waited until the final moment and struck gold again, showing that the Premier League reigning champions have the power to pry away tomorrow's stars from transfer competitors. French striker Hugo Ekitike officially joined Liverpool on a 6-year deal worth around $140 million plus add-ons, after the Reds swooped in the final moments to steal him from under Newcastle's eyes. Manchester United also attempted a late move, but the Eintracht Frankfurt star had already made up his mind. Sources confirmed Ekitike had no interest in joining United despite a direct call from Christopher Vival to Frankfurt sporting director Marcus Krosch. By then, Liverpool had already quietly and efficiently executed their move, just as they had done when signing players in the past. Ekitike reportedly completed his medical earlier this week and will fly out to Hong Kong to join Arne Slot's squad on their pre-season tour of Asia. The 23-year-old becomes Liverpool's latest high-profile signing following a Premier League title-winning season that is showing no signs of slowing down. The Reds didn't want a bidding war, giving reason to wait for the Newcastle talks to mature before getting serious. Just a week earlier, Ekitike was set to move to Newcastle, who are aiming to add another attacking option alongside Alexander Isak. The Swedish striker was also a transfer target for the Reds and Saudi side Al Hilal. The Magpies were willing to pay $95 million upfront but hadn't finalized bonus clauses. That hesitation left the door wide open for the Bundesliga breakout star, who scored 15 goals and added 8 assists in 31 starts last season, to become the latest statement piece in Liverpool's attack. Frankfurt called Ekitike's loss bitter and referred to him as their absolute top player in the winter. They hope to keep the Frenchman after a breakout season that saw him tally over 100 shots, complete 50-plus take-ons, and rack up 200-plus touches in the opposition box. In Europe's top 5 leagues last season, only 5 players hit those offensive thresholds: Kylian Mbappé, Mohamed Salah, Antoine Semenyo, Lamine Yamal, and Ekitike. With Salah and Ekitike now set to line up together, Liverpool will field 2 of the sport's most aggressive and effective creators. What is happening with Alexander Isak after contract demand and Liverpool transfer call? Alexander Isak has been heavily linked with a move away from St James' Park this summer. Alexander Isak's situation has quickly become the story of the summer, despite Newcastle's insistence that he is not going anywhere. The striker has been heavily linked with a move away from St James' Park nevertheless, with Liverpool now ready to pounce if he does become available. Liverpool are willing to break the Premier League transfer record for the second time this summer to secure the signature of Isak, and with Eddie Howe hinting that there is a touch of uncertainty around the situation, they may be holding out some hope. Newcastle are hoping that tying Isak down to a new contract would fend off interest, but they will need to break their wage structure to get the former Real Sociedad star to put pen to paper on a longer deal. According to TalkSport, Isak has told the Magpies that they must offer him a £300,000 a week salary if he is to sign a contract deal on Tyneside. Such demands are attainable for Liverpool and Saudi Pro League sides, but they would blow Newcastle's structure out of the water. Liverpool signed the Isak alternative. Arne Slot's side have acted quickly to sign the direct alternative to Isak, Hugo Ekitike. The Frenchman was unveiled as a new Liverpool player on Wednesday evening, joining the club from Eintracht Frankfurt in a deal worth up to £79 million. Acquiring the services of the 23-year-old has not put an end to the Reds' pursuit of Isak though, and the Anfield outfit do envision a world in which both can start together on Merseyside. Injury blow. Liverpool supporters were sent into a frenzy when pictures emerged of Isak training alone, fueling speculation that he'd been isolated from the rest of his Newcastle teammates due to some form of transfer negotiations. However, that does not appear to be the case. Newcastle World reports that Isak is currently suffering with a thigh problem and has undergone a scan on the injury. The scan result is said to have been all clear, but the Magpies were unwilling to take any risks with their number 14 and opted to let him get back up to speed on his own specialized training program. FPL news signings: will Ekitike be a hit at Liverpool? The tangled web involving Liverpool, Newcastle United, Alexander Isak, £10.5 million, and Hugo Ekitike finally resolved itself on Wednesday. The Reds have now officially captured the latter. Frankfurt are experts at buying forwards cheap and selling them high, the previous one being Omar Marmush, £8.5 million, in January. Here, they're receiving an initial £69 million that should rise to £79 million. So, will the 23-year-old start improving his goal numbers and become a top fantasy Premier League, FPL, asset? In this latest scout report, we take a look at his career and upcoming season. History. Born in June 2002, Ekitike started at youth level with local team Cormontrol FC before joining the Stade de Reims Academy in 2013. He made his Senior League One debut for them in 2020, before heading out on loan to Danish club Vejle Boldklub for a bit. Ekitike's breakthrough campaign came in 2021-22, scoring 11 goals from 16 starts in all competitions. He was close to joining Newcastle halfway through, but ultimately elected to remain in his hometown. 6 months later, Paris Saint-Germain came calling. Following 7 early attacking returns, the initial loan deal became permanent for around €28.5 million, plus a few million bonuses. However, back then, it was a struggle to get game time ahead of their superstars. He didn't even make PSG's 2023-24 Champions League squad, leading to a winter loan move. Like before, Frankfurt were impressed with his potential and soon made it permanent for a cut-price €16.5 million fee. And Ekitike really stepped up last season, gaining widespread attention thanks to 15 goals and 8 assists in the Bundesliga, accruing another 4 and 3 when reaching the Europa League quarter-finals. Domestically, Die Adler finished third, successfully qualifying for this season's Champions League. But the World Cup is less than a year away and he's still without a cap for France's senior squad. Playing style capable of playing as both a lone striker or in a two-man frontline, Ekitike offers a physical 6 feet 3 inches presence but is also quick and agile, sometimes drifting out wide to draw opposing centre-backs out of position before dashing in behind, or through, backlands using speed and strength. A capable dribbler, he makes plenty of direct runs with the ball at his feet and frequently finds space in the box. It means he's well positioned to receive through balls, attack crosses and latch onto rebounds. His tactical understanding is one of his great strengths. He is versatile and not just a striker who feels at home inside the box. Ekitike might not be the most dynamic player, but he can get past defenders with smart moves. German football writer Konstantin Eckner, and while it's not often been demanded of him at Frankfurt, Ekitike has shown promising signs of being willing to press and regain the ball high up the pitch. This will endear him to Slot.